In the description under each video there is a link to the LGBT dating Telegram channel. Subscribe and find your other half in life.
Lauren's paw. I heard the shrill sound of the alarm clock on my nightstand. Did I really need to work on a Sunday? Yes. In an hour Camilla would be waiting for me in Le Café. I stretched, remembering last night, which made me smile broadly. Images of Carla were unmistakably in my thoughts. How could she make me feel like this? I remember exactly the pleasurable feeling that was touching her. God, I could get horny just by imagining her being possessed by me. Her superior air confronted with mine, and that made me want her even more. Stop thinking about her, Lauren, I said to myself as I got up from bed, heading towards the bathroom. Minutes later, I was completely ready. I was wearing a simple black dress that had a slight neckline in the front, high heels of the same color, and my Ray-Ban sunglasses. It didn't take me too long to park my car 4 blocks away from my apartment, where Le Café was located. It was one of my favorite coffee shops in Miami. It had a unique environment, like the ones in Paris. The building architecture was old, but very well preserved. In its front it had several tables protected by an awning, for the customers who liked the outdoors. I entered the cozy establishment that wasn't crowded today. Thank God. The place had a good vibe. The furniture was all made of wood, with large ceiling lamps and a huge counter. On the walls there were several framed pictures of Paris, maps, and shelves with books. It was a real piece of Paris in Miami. Lauren, sweetie, the gray-haired man greeted me as he approached. Good morning, Gerald, I greeted in a friendly way. I've never seen you here so early. To what do I owe the pleasure? I need a peaceful place to work, and this was my first option. The man with a slightly big belly smiled, and with his unmistakable French accent said, Perfect. Are you waiting for someone? I have a table in the back, it's quite private there, and I guarantee that no one will disturb you. Yes, that would be wonderful. I'm waiting for my secretary. I think she already arrived. A very beautiful young lady walked in a while ago, and I'm sure I never saw her here before. Where is she? On the terrace. You know we have a great view of the park from out there. The man said, good-humored. Absolutely, Gerald, please send someone to take our order, okay? I'll take your order myself, sweetie. I smiled at the man who led me to the table where Camilla supposedly was, and he wasn't wrong, it was indeed her. The brunette was focused on the book in her hands, and as soon as she saw me, she quickly got up from her chair with a beautiful smile. Good morning, Ms. Yaregui. Today she looked different from the other days. Camilla was wearing light jeans that fully outlined her beautiful legs, a white silk blouse and a navy blue blazer on top it. Her hair was loose and slightly wavy, molding her thin face that was adorned with simple reading glasses. She looked beautiful, as usual. Good morning, Ms. Cabello. Let me take you to the more private table, Gerald said, leading us to the back of the coffee shop, where there was a lonely table near a large glazed window. What can I get you? He asked. The usual, Gerald, I said, sitting at the table. I think I'm going to need the menu, Camilla said, smiling. Permettez-moi de vous aider, mademoiselle, Gerald said politely, handing the menu to Camilla. You should try their croissant, it's the best in Miami. And the hot chocolate is even better, I suggested. Should I believe you? Have I ever lied to you before, Ms. Cabello? I asked, smiling. I'd like a croissant with hot chocolate then. All right, I'll be right back with your orders, girls, Gerald said, leaving us alone. Did I take too long? I asked, putting my purse aside. No, ma'am, I probably arrived too early, she spade with a smile. I think I arrived late. I had a somewhat frantic night, I said as I remembered Carla. Camilla smiled, probably not imagining how my night was. No problem, ma'am. I was engrossed in this book about Paris, everything's so beautiful, she said, her gaze admiring the pictures that were on the book as she flipped through it peacefully. You've never been to Paris? No, in fact, I don't think I've ever left Miami. You don't know what you're missing, Ms. Cabello. Paris is one of the most magical places I've visited. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to go there, mostly because my father brought me here almost every morning. So you've been frequenting this place since you were a little girl? Yes, every morning, my dad and I used to sit at that counter and order a croissant with hot chocolate. I said, smiling, I like to come here to think, and because of that, I always had the desire to go to Paris. I imagine, it must have been a great trip, she said with a smile. It really was, but Paris is an overly romantic place. To see and experience everything, I recommend going with someone you love. I think the same way, even though I've never been there. When I do go, I really want to go with someone special. Excellent decision, Ms. Cabello. Meanwhile, you can come here with me, I said smiling. It's a wonderful place, Ms. Yaregui. Very cozy. You can call me Lauren today, Camilla. We're not at the company, I said as I removed my Ray-Ban sunglasses from my face. Putting them on the table, Camilla looked into my eyes for a few seconds, to then turn her attention back to the book. I don't know, ma'am. I think it's best if I continue calling you Ms. Yaregui. Okay, but I'll call you Camilla. That's fine by me, she smiled. I imagine that your friends must be angry at me, right? I didn't give you a day off this week. They understand the situation well. Allie and Dinah are wonderful friends, the woman said calmly. Do you live with them? I'm sorry for intruding in your life, Camilla, but we have to talk about something and tell the croissants. Get here, I said laughing. Yes, I live with them. We share an apartment near the company. We became best friends and we haven't left each other's side ever since. A blonde girl approached us, placing our croissants and hot chocolate on the table. You don't look like you're from Miami. Your features are very Latin, I said calmly as I stirred the sugar in my cup. Yeah, I'm not from here. I was born in Cuba and then moved to Miami with my family, she said, to then take a sip of her hot chocolate. From her expression, she had liked it. Approved? I asked smiling. Yes, it's wonderful. Try the croissant, you're going to love it, I said as I placed a bit on her small plate. Camilla smiled at me and then ate it, making the same expression she had done when she tasted the hot chocolate. After wiping her mouth with the napkin, she said, It's wonderful, it has an amazing taste, unlike any other I have ever eaten. I knew you'd like it, it's the best in Miami. I don't know what they do inside the kitchen, if it's some sort of magic or sorcery, but they are delicious. But I can assure you that I make a great one too, I said, to then eat a bit of my croissant, and Camilla laughed as if I had told a joke. What? I didn't know you could cook. I'm a very gifted woman in the kitchen. Or did you think I lived off of takeouts and canned food? The brunette flashed a lovely smile, to then take another sip of her drink. Camilla had a so familiar smile, I felt as if I knew it perfectly well. That was what I thought. You don't look like someone who cooks. I'm sorry. Well then, I guess I'll have to show you my culinary skills, Ms. Cabello. You'll see that I'm not what people think. I hope I remain alive after that, she said, amused. She was more loose now. Vero was right. Camilla was more interesting than I thought. I stared at the brunette with so familiar brown eyes for a few seconds. Okay, we better start working on the balance sheet, she said, embarrassed. Of course, we can eat and work at the same time. She quickly grabbed her folder, taking out a big volume of papers, reminding me the real reason why we were there. We started working, and we spent hours on it, drinking coffee and water to stay focused, which was impossible with that woman in front of me. Camilla had such a delicate and sweet way of being that made me lose focus. And I lost even more focus when she decided to get up and walk around, with her jeans that were extremely tight on her body. Fuck, that ass. Did you understand, ma'am? She asked. Huh? I asked, confused. Camilla smiled sweetly at me. I asked if you understood, Ms. Yaregui. You can call me Lauren in here, I mean it. She smiled, and then said, Did you understand, Lauren? Yes, I understood, Camilla. Can we recalculate the materials spending? I admit I got lost on that. Of course, they are right here, she said, sitting beside me to show me the papers. We continued working like that for long hours. I could see that she was a very smart woman and that she was acquainted with all of the company's affairs. She knew the business and practically every sector. Have you considered not being a secretary? I asked, and she looked at me confused. What do you mean? You're a very intelligent woman. You understand business administration and everything else. You have the capacity to be in a position like mine. Camilla smiled broadly. I have thought about it, yes. But I never had the opportunity. I come from a very humble family. You can conquer it, Camilla. I believe you can. Who knows, right? Let's take a stroll in the park nearby, and you can tell me a little about yourself. I suggested. But what about the balance sheet? We have time, Cabello. We'll have lunch together and then we'll go back to work, okay? She nodded and got up. We warned Gerald that we would be back after lunch, and the man nodded and promised to keep an eye on our paperwork. For some reason, I wanted to know more about Camilla. She was different from other people. You seem to know Miami very well, she said as she walked beside me. I'm from here, so I know this place like the back of my hand. But you moved away, right? Yes, I lived in Europe for a few years. And now I'm back to take care of the company.
Support the channel with a reaction and write a comment under the video. Thank you very much for staying with me on the channel and subscribing.